So here we are in the garden under this lush apple tree. This used to be I felt the best out of 4 other trees, but I realised when they're all ripe, they're all the best. So over the 6 years, I've got to open my eyes to realise, the divine nature, divine Mother Earth, in its bloom, ready to drop the apples, are perfect, beautiful. So I have a Hana here. I've shared stories, not too many of my own, potentially not too many of my own. It was great having Herb listen to his story in terms of how he healed through fruits, and he was on a melon fast, live it, you could call it, and it's really nice being on Dorit's Being Healthy podcast, being invited to that. Such an amazing woman, has done so much, very humble, doesn't need to say what she's done. We had a little look, or Hannah had a little look. Well done, Dory. Ooh, amazing, amazing, amazing. We give thanks for amazing, beautiful beings like you. And I am supporting that as the best I can do. Apologies for first night, internet stories. So here we have Hannah. For the first time she told me a story about a strength ago, and it was more revealing to me. I'm like, Hannah, that needs to come out. So I'm going to put you on to Hannah, and hear some of her stories. Her story, why she went on this path.
So, growing up within the Western world, I had all the vaccines you could think of. I had what they would have classed as severe asthma from a very young age. I was on inhalers probably from about the age of 7, that including steroid inhalers. And I remember I got to about 18, 19, and my journey of just opening to a different kind of spiritual world from growing up in the church. And I'd take these inhalers, and they were steroid ones, and every time I'd take them, my hands would be shaking, and I thought, this can't be right, this can't be doing much good for me. And as a child, my parents always getting on to me, make sure you take your inhalers twice a day, make sure you take them. But fortunately, I'm grateful that there was an aspect of me that didn't. And I'm so grateful for that.
And then you get to see the parents are co-creators are doing the best they can, and what I witness is everyone has a level of trauma. Everyone is in a state of trauma. It's not putting anyone down. I would say this generation, or the younger generation, each generation that come through, are all closest to God. How one can sustain that, how amazing the being is, or however we look at it, whatever interpretation we may adopt, whatever ethos, really enables that spirit to shine through. However, these days I see so much against the spirit. So much. It's like coming into a war zone. Not pessimistic, it's just the realm, you could say, we chose to wake up. So we are the architects. We are the architects. The more we be accountable for it, we are all one. Let's say it's a game. I could still be reiterating an ethos. However, what a great one to get the best program. So even if I'm in a illusion, I'm going to create the best illusion to what I believe. However, cleanse, detox. This is my gift. Hannah has a gift from her experience. So let Hannah carry on.
Yeah, and just popped to mind as a child, if you'd have witnessed some of the asthma attacks I was having almost daily at some point, it's enough to scare the absolute crap out of someone. I remember often getting to the point where I couldn't breathe and I was vomiting, and I'd have to run to the window to try and get a breath. So, there's no blame or anything for just parents trying to do anything about that sort of situation.
So lack of, what I see as well as what you've seen, lack of knowledge. I'm going to say spoon-fed certain academia knowledge, doctors, institutionalization, schooling, etc. No blame, a game.
Yeah, and just
Come out of the game.
recognising the very state of fear that has been perpetuated on us as a mankind. So we can't blame any individual person. We blame the programs that have been installed within us.
Fear, false evidence appearing real. It has its purpose. Everything is perfect. However, our words, spells are full of contradictions. So, we have to do the inner work. There's this great saying. How does it go, Hannah?
The only thing I can do for you is work on myself, and the only thing you can do for me is work on yourself.
And it's beautiful. And there's another one. Yesterday I was
clever, so I wanted to change the world, and today I'm wise, so I'm changing myself.
And they're beautiful. So I want Hannah to jump straight in, not really how she met me and came across me, but straight into why you was put on this path. Because I shared mine 17 years ago, wake up call, shown like Christmas Carol scenario, honestly shown. My dream state is really good. When the phone gets picked up or knocked off for me locking it down, I get shown that I was going to shown my grave, shown relatives around me mourning me. So I didn't want that. So I chose to stay open and receive. And then you're guided not to compartmentalize, not to judge. My reactions, chose to look at my triggers, chose to look at my reactions, chose to look at anything that's wobbling my energy field. Isn't real. We should be calm. Our energy field is with the cosmos. It's a relaxed, and even if it has a force, it's still just natural. It's not man-made created. It doesn't have any unadulterated disorder, dis-ease within that. So I want Hannah to share the story, how she had a kind of epic awakening to her journey.
Yeah, so jumping, very long story short, so I got to that stage again, having asthma attacks every day, couldn't breathe, just a severely state of ill health, severely, and went to the doctors, couldn't find anything. So I remember the night I made the decision, right, I'm taking the natural route, and it was so profound. And that night it felt like these beings came down. I was just falling asleep, and it was almost like that they'd come from where I came from, and they pinned me down and they said, right, no more smoking ever again in this life. And it was like scary, after that I've never touched anything again, and I would not dare mess with that experience.
Because of the feeling, the entity, the energy.
Just because of how real it was and how profoundly impactful it was, and it felt like they was almost operating on me, like they were saving me from something. So then shortly after that I met you, and it was on a retreat, and over that time I'd been searching all these different healing modalities. I tried ayahuasca, I tried Kamba. I was so afraid of death that I was willing to try anything, and it was like I've got nothing to lose because I'm so full of fear that I just can't go any further with this energy within me.
It reminds me of something when I was 17. I had all these thoughts, and I wasn't well read. I was too busy surviving, really surviving. I remember this person coming across this person, and he says, oh, you've never read any of Ronald Dahl, something like that, famous books, anyway, whatever it is, maybe Peter the Rabbit, etc., and it's just like, no. So he put I felt a bit guilty, and guilt trip on me, like judging me, and then I dropped into that evening, meditation kind of thing, but just did my normal thing. This was say 15 years ago, and then what come up was, well, yeah, you were too busy working out who to run from, making sure you didn't get a beating, making sure you didn't get more trauma, making sure you didn't get let's just say bullied, making sure you get fed, making sure, you know, just your instincts had to be alert because it was as if you was in truly a war zone. So leading on to that, from that, it was, so I wasn't well read, didn't have anyone around me wise enough to guide me. I met this amazing tutor, and I feared death, I feared the dark. So I was shown, well, jump in. You know, what's the mystery? Jump in. Research. Go, keep going. Go through one door. Realize there's always other doors. Don't never stop. Always go through the doors. So I jumped in, met this teacher. I could not believe I had no one in my immediate environment, no one, grandmum, brothers, sisters, no one who could see and let's just say interpret what was going on with these 20 people. And it was like, whoa, I feel naked here, you know. So I wanted to learn what she learned, however she did it. If she said sit on the toilet for 10 days, I would have sat on the toilet for 10 days. You know, she didn't, fasting and intermittent fasting and detoxing wasn't really in them groups. However, it was on another level. Mukas after mukas after mukas. I did 2 groups, was coming out of me over them 2 years, really, just from the psychological, mental defragmentation of the clutter in my mind, the programs, the stagnation, etc. So I feared dark, I feared death. I didn't have any answers. So that was just leading on from what Hana said.
Oh, I had such a huge fear from many experiences growing up, and it's so nice that you mentioned that part, because when I arrived here and I met Pete, and it was like this voice said to me, and I just saw the vitality and your vibrance and your energy, and it was like, and just where I was at the time, so suffering with my health, this voice just said to me, because at the time I had Neptune on my Pluto, so it's very trippy time. And this voice said to me, you do whatever this man's doing. And it was nothing romantic, it was me trying to save my own life, really. And that was the first Strength Never Ends, in months and months doing your protocols. I was on this retreat and it was just like, I don't care about the retreat, I want to eat what you were eating, and jumped into the sauna and just absorbed as much as I could from you, really, at that time.
It was beautiful, you know. On this retreat, it was more in the winter, or come in September, October, so they needed some extra rooms. We had some extra rooms in the house, so I just carried on doing my thing. You know, when I say I, my, and then when Hannah says she met me, you know, it's really, who am I serving, really? Many times from 17, I could have gone on an ego trip. I certified with breath work. I could have done astrology. I worked with crystals. I could have ran. This medium, Betty Shine, 3 years on her journey, really gave me some amazing insight, gave me some amazing downloads, and I could have run with it all. However, there was an inner knowing that, you know, that can be, let's just say, can be carrots, you know, somewhere deep in me, you know, again, you know, we cannot do anything for anyone else apart from doing us for ourselves. That's the best I can do for everyone else. I think until we get there and we just carry on doing that, then we truly can authentically help by just keep helping ourselves. Our very action, it emanates off to people around, into the cosmos, for the people who are ready to receive. My journey has shown me, wow, what war zones I've been in, chosen on the archetype to get more well rehearsed, to be able to deal with the many pitfalls. Oh my gosh, the traps. How we feel down, how we feel up, why, and there's so much of the other parts of I trying to stop the higher I. Blessings to you, thank you. We're all motherless children. Connect back to mother. Let's stop abusing our mothers. Let's get back there. So yes, so honestly, let's nurture Mother Earth. Stop exploiting. Stop the killing of animals, other sentient beings. Stop exploiting other animals, inflicting trauma on Mother Earth, on God, Mother Nature's creations. I mean, wow. When you clear, we wouldn't be adding more trauma to ourselves, to our children. We would not be consuming certain, which is a consuming certain foods. We would not be passing them on. However, we all do our bit. Let's just do bit by bit. Don't like it's too late now. Don't give me any of that. It's not too late. So, moving on. So, Hana, back to Hana.
Yeah, and it's so true about the dangling carrots. Another thing popped to mind, because it was probably a whole year later till I actually started to feel healthy again and we started to connect more. But I remember maybe a few months after meeting you, and I was still suffering, implementing things as best I could, and I remember emailing you like, Pete, please can you just give me some advice, something I can take. I just wanted you to give me a simple thing like, take this herb and take this. And I remember you sent me my astrology transits, and I was like, I didn't get it at the time, and I was like, no, I want something. You could have easily said, oh, pay me for this product or anything, but you sent me my astrological transits, and in retrospect, that's what it was all about. And so, backtracking to the retreat, obviously I was searching.
The retreat next door. Yes.
The retreat next door where we were staying in Pete's hub. So I was searching, I was trying everything, and I think on the one evening a friend had a little bit of a magic mushroom, and I had the smallest amount, and it was so intense, and it was really long night, and I got to this point during this experience where it was like I arrived in this pathway, and I was literally at a crossroads, and one crossroads is I'd been having it for a few strengths already, just having these certain visions of my funeral and my family at my funeral, but I was just choosing to ignore them and suppress them. But through choosing to embark on that experience, I got to this pathway, and it was like, I couldn't hide from that anymore. And it was like, look, you've got a crossroads here, and it's either you've gone in within weeks, and in retrospect, where I was within my health, that was so believable, or you choose another path of more longevity and health and healing. And obviously, of course, I chose that path, and felt like it took me hours to take the first steps onto that path. It was like such a battle, in a sense.
And some of the stories you shared with me, Hana had 2 strengths, 14 days. Wow. I had over the year. So
What was that in reference to?
in reference to showing your funeral, showing your relatives, it was like it was going to happen in 14 days if you took that path. So there was a need for a drastic change. And then someone could potentially think, oh, you had a bit of magic mushroom, or your imagination, etc. There's been many beautiful things that Hana has her own connection that was just like, has shifted me. Okay, yeah, I will come off salt too, because I felt it. It's like, okay, so we share with each other. So in terms of, in retrospect, let's look at a few things. I have all them experiences without taking nothing. So come on, I know breath work, I diged, I certified in Jinshin Jiu-Jitsu 17, 18 years ago. So I get them experiences through taking nothing apart from the clean food, sauna, showers, 6 years ago, sauna, ice bathing, every other day, every day, so we toxify, and even if we don't know we are getting toxins in us, hence we know chemtrails, etc., in the clothing, in the material, in the products, it's everywhere. So there was a constant cleansing going on without even knowing. So that kept in retrospect, a certain connection. woo, I'm no different to anyone else. I just wanted to be around. I had my boys about 17, 19 at the time, my daughter 4, and it's just like, no, I don't fear death. If anything, we all fear coming into life. We are in death, you know. Just saying about our birthday. Well, we should aspire to celebrate our very first birthday, excuse me, birthday of coming into this life. Reborn into this life. So where do we come from? We start to realize that was closest to God when we was a child, closest to life. And then as we partake in this reality, that diminishes. So I'm going to pass you back to Hannah because I got a cough. So in relation to two strengths you had, other things experiences you had. Let me just quickly get this in. I know I'm kind of butting, but there was an important down your history. Your granddad was in the shower and he died from electric shock. The radio fell in the water.
I think it was the heater. Actually.
Oh, the heater.
Something from the heater. Yeah.
And he was died from electric shock. There was a few experiences Hannah had beforehand like that. So there was many. It's just not making it up. We cannot use the ayahuasca, the little bit of weeny bit of mushroom. I believe the more clearer you are, yes, they are tools, like everything is a tool, but let's not keep going round and round in circles. There are natural ways. What I evoke, not against that, but what I evoke, well, I've done it without that. Let's go back to the certified of Jinshin Jiu-Jitsu 18 years ago, 17 years ago. Why aren't I doing it? I'd question. And I was shown it's not about being a crutch for anyone. It's about getting the tools so you can share the tools. So when Hannah wanted an answer from me, like a magic pill, no, we're not allowed. By natural law, we are not allowed. So if we are following the right master, we cannot follow two masters. What does that mean? Do an alkaline chart, acidic chart. Do a list of what we believe is following the right master and what is not. We will do one. Maybe collaborate with us and let's work one out. And then you realize we're kind of 90%. It's not bad me. It's just like we've been misguided 90%, like in terms of acidic food. When I realized in the beginning I was 90% acidic food. Going back, I was the same in terms of not following, not the true master. Master sounds, can have a lot of baggage, but just nature, communion with nature, being more closer to nature. So yeah, the money thing, I don't have a problem with money. It's just how it's been used. Let's get in line first. Closest back to the divine, and anything that comes through us, we are a conduit of that. So if we are constantly able to sustain inner love in one form or another, then whatever comes through us is within love. So we are the alchemists, we are the gods. So money comes, I don't see it as money. It's just like comes and goes. We use it for the good of each fellow man, woman, under the laws of nature. So back to Hannah. So she did have some epic wake-up calls. I see many people having epic wake-up calls. I've sat in the sauna many times. I had lots of people, follow me on the 6 a.m. sauna ice bath journey. 5-6 months. Some people break through. Some people, too much stuff comes up. I do pre-warn them. This is like an intense detox. So your day will change. You might find you're arguing with your closest or whatever. Use certain tools to see it as an opportunity. See it as a gift. Because You've gone deeper to shift some stagnant energy, stagnant cellular memory, frequencies that stagnated. You're opening them up. You are evoking spirit to come in, clearing out your bin. However, we can slip back, and no blame, no guilt. You know, and if people want to use me, see me, and blame and put whatever they want to put on me, thank you. I can be that conduit to that. We're so entrenched in the money program, so entrenched in all the programs with media and films and the sexuality. We've been totally abused on that level, and many innocence taken away from us on many levels. So aspiring to get back to that purity, and I am going on lots. So this is about both of us, really. So it gets me to share my story. My story, heavily carcinogenic. 7 years in on my journey, went to a biochemist dentist, and he said then, 7 years on, that was heavily carcinogenic. I should seek a private doctor. However, I don't believe in all that nonsense. Break a bone, yes, etc. Stitch me up potentially. But even I would do that. Even I would show my partner to do that. So, the whole all toxic medicines, they cannot patent any plant medicine. Correct me if I'm wrong, but to its natural DNA. Pass you to Hannah.
Yeah, and just confirming that before that experience and after have hit those spaces from a sober place, and in retrospect at the time, maybe it was like the spirit or whatever is like, we gotta wake her up, let's just find any way we can in this moment, and that's what I was open to at that time. Whereas now, through cleaning the body, detoxing, and opening my energetic circuits more in natural ways, I would say I'm a lot more open to receiving that guidance without having to take anything externally. And fasting has been a massive one for that. So
yeah, we want quick fixes. There's no quick fixes, and it's all a program. Emotions are a program, even the quick fix program. It's all here now. There's many things. I could reiterate many things, many ethoses, many beliefs, and we are gods, goddesses, so whatever we believe objectively is our reality. So let's believe the best we can, and some people might say, well, I'm not afraid of dying. Yeah, well, okay, doesn't mean you don't have to change. What about your children, your grandchildren? So I would say to that person, well, you're quite selfish, and we are all very selfish. When we mourn, another, it's our self opportunity to wake up our truer self. Get in it, get out of it. Get in it, get out of it. There's nothing wrong with crying. What's wrong with crying, Pete? Nothing. Just in and out. What's wrong with being angry? Nothing. Let's not be it all the time, and let's follow, let's just say, whether it's close to the 12 commandments or the hidden Ethiopian books, the Bible. Let's be kind to the fellow man. Let's not harm fellow sentient beings. So in and out. Programs. They're programs. We're supercomputers. We're super beings, and being on the path of that is so beautiful. I'm no more special than anyone else. It's discipline. I wanted to be around for my children, for others, but isn't that selfish? You just wanted to be around for you. Actually, no. An element of that. But however, to get to the point where I can share with my daughter, share with my friends, that if I'm gone, don't mourn me, please. I'll be happy like I am now, happy there. Heaven on earth. Let's get to the heaven on earth, so we won't perpetually keep coming back to this game. Some people call it hell, whatever we want to call it. We're addicted. Some people enjoy the game. Get rid of your addictions here, and wherever you go, the big carrot won't be able to pull you into, let's just say, a feeding frenzy of entities waiting, trying to grab you. It's just like, whoa, which realm can grab you into their reality, you know? And, I'm throwing out different ethoses, whatever. Best thing we can do is work on ourselves. Detox, if you like. This is just for entertainment.
But there must be some sort of inclination when we look at the bigger picture, and we look at everything from when we're in the womb that's just coming at us, bombarding us. Like, what are they aspiring to block us from tapping into? So if anything, we just allow those things to show us our potential and keep moving towards that, and keep choosing to just keep jumping, like that's you said, and keep facing it, and keep jumping.
Yeah, and what they have chosen. We're the architects. What we have chosen. I'm going to go with that one. Still an ethos. I'm going to be accountable, be responsible. Still an ethos, but that's the one I'm adopting. So if you was responsible for your children, accountable, you would do the best. So we parent, again, Dory, amazing woman. Dory. Oh, and with more. And honourable people, honourable priest Kailash, Ibrahim Traore, people doing really good Christ work, and so many people want to crucify many people. So, look at your own crucifixion, look at your own traumas, look at yourself, come on, let's truly be sovereign and these beings, not just the words, by your actions. You can tell me words all day, we can share words all day, which I am choosing to be here. However, I'm not going to spend too much time here because I've got a lot of action to get on with. But so that was Hannah's. I mean, she might have more stories, but it was so heartfelt when she told me. It's slightly different, here we are on the camera, but it was so heartfelt. It's like, Hannah, why haven't you ever shared me that story? You need to share that. And
but you was the first person I shared that with.
Yeah.
And that was about 6 years ago that happened. Yeah.
It's beautiful. And the other thing was, it's normally me shares about the home birth, skin to skin for 10 days, just me and Hannah, and the lotus birth, because Hannah's coming out of her shell a little bit. She's Cancer by sun sign, and I'm a bit more well rehearsed in this realm, and my roots are stronger. So we shouldn't have to shy away from a more natural way of being. I see people shying away because there's so many triggers from other people that kind of browbeat you down. You shouldn't say this. Oh, I don't know about that. Whether Dad, Pete, don't know about this. You know what? I'm not going to do something rude there, but I'm sovereign to myself in the moment, and will be true to myself. I see how others are put down, how others are browbeaten down, how the more empathic, sensitive are crushed. Now, this sensitivity, majority of it is emotional programs, but there is a more empathic still has the emotional programs, but they are more connected and aspiring to navigate through this world. So that was me. I used to see all sorts of realms when I was young. The place wasn't held. So the lower realms, things coming out the clouds, I'd be running indoors. I'd be seeing all sorts. And now I'm reparented myself. These are realms that maybe people don't go into, and I wasn't on anything. So it's just recognizing that there's a symbiotic relationship with this realm we are in, and there's lots of, alliances with other realms, other realities, other beings. And we don't have to believe that. However, whatever's happened to us up to this age, if we can't sit truly, authentically, mainly being if we can't be around others too much without getting triggered, or we can truly witness and feel why you choose not to be. but as opposed to running away, then we really need to look at why we're running away. We really need to look why we're running away from ourselves. It's just our inner self, and it's an injustice to our children, to others, to people around us. So that's my journey, and this is only for entertainment anyway. Does Hannah want to finish off?
I think so. All said there. I mean, we could go on and on for hours and hours.
And there's something I will do something about the podcast first night, because I didn't really get to share more about clutter. And I'm, as some people know, the clutter man, and I'm gonna not justify it. I'm just gonna itch my nose. Okay, I'm gonna justify it. That's body language. Justify it, but also give different examples of it, which I'm going to go straight into.
Cool.
Give thanks.